Hi everyone, welcome to Augmintech. Today in this video, we are going to talk about evolution of furniture, styles and history. So to start with, understanding how the furniture evolved around during the years and how it has evolved into something contemporary, understanding cultural influences on design. Furniture design often mirrors the cultural, social, and economic conditions of its time. It's very important for us to understand that during the older times, like say in 20th century, 19th century, 18th century, everything changes. The industrial revolution changes, the use of material changes, the craftsmanship changes, and also the cultural aspect all around how people are living and how people are now changing with their lifestyle, that changes, and with that it reflects into our furniture. Global influence, recognizing how different cultures have influenced each other through trade, colonization and globalization. Now because there is a vast global influence, there are multinational companies who are working with furniture throughout the world. So they are selling furniture throughout the world, and that brings in so much global influence. Maybe a person sitting in India has a very nice piece of an Italian chair, or somebody sitting in Africa has something very beautiful from Japan. So this is something that brings in a lot of evolution in terms of furniture. Design evolution, understanding the progression of styles from one era to another and how cultural styles shift these changes. Now, this is something that we are going to explore in this video, how design evolution happens from one era to another and how things are being changing. So, the first type of furniture style that we are going to talk about is classical furniture style. Here we are talking about 5th to 15th century and 15th to 17th century. So, the medieval furniture, the furniture which was way behind, like 5th to 15th century, is way back. So here what was happening is the picture that you see on the top right corner, that's a piece of medieval furniture. This was very heavy, very durable, and it has a lot of Gothic influences. So coming from the characteristics like, ornate details like wood, there was a lot of use of wood, and there was a lot of use of ironwork in that scenario. So examples of such furniture can be large wooden chests, canopy beds, throne-like chairs. So the chair that you see on the screen, this is very similar to a throne, how a throne would be. So it's a very big piece, a bulky furniture. This was what was in trend or what was being in use in the medieval times in 5th to 15th century. After that came Renaissance furniture. Now Renaissance furniture, the key features here are symmetry, intricate carvings and classical motifs. So here we are talking about floral details, we are talking about woodwork, and we are talking about revival of Greek and Roman elements. So whatever was happening in the Roman civilization, Greek civilization, that caused influence in the furniture industry, and the furniture that was being created at that time looked somewhat like the one that you see on the bottom of the left right hand side of the screen. That's the kind of furniture that you would find in the Renaissance time. Here the main examples are the elaborate cabinets they created, the tables were sculptural, and there were ornate chairs. The one that you see on the screen is one of that example. Then comes Baroque, Rococo, and Neoclassical style. This is 17th to 18th century. Now you will see that with the advancement of time, we have a lot of changes happening. And here, since we were talking about 5th to 15th century, now we are talking about 17th to early 18th. So even in one century, a lot of new things would come into picture. So number one is your Baroque furniture. So Baroque furniture is something that looks like this. So there's a lot of gold, there's a lot of lush fabric, there's a lot of ornamentation. So this is dramatic, grand, gilded designs. This is something that is still being used for certain styles. Influence church and monarchy patronage. So here we are thinking about something which is very grand. So here examples would be wooden chairs, exaggerated curves. So if you are creating something into a Baroque style furniture, it would have a lot of curves, it will have a lot of intricate details. Then comes your Rococo furniture. This was specifically in 18th century. They did not happen for a lot of time. So here the part is similar to Baroque furniture, but here we have gone more towards light golden. So we are not going for bright golden anymore. We are going towards dusty golden with a lot of pastels. So even though the making and everything is similar, it still has a little bit of asymmetry. So this is not identical. So everything that is being used here is not identical. If you see the front and the back legs of the chair on the screen, those are different. So we are just kind of breaking away from geometry, literally with very small steps. So here the major influence was from French aristocracy, and here they wanted to add some feminine aesthetics. So examples can be cabriole legs that you see on the chair, upholstered sofas, decorative commodes. Then comes your neoclassical furniture. So neoclassical furniture came into picture in late 18th century, early 19th century. So this was the time where we are featuring straight lines, Greco-Roman influence, refined ornamentation. So yes, there was ornamentation, but this time we are making it more refined. So it's not like elaborate or very big. It's like small details. So examples here are your elegant chair, symmetrical design, a little bit of very small wood inlays. So all of those would be there. Then comes your 19th and 20th century furniture. So this was a time where Victorian style was happening. So Victorian furniture came into picture. Now Victorian furniture was very heavy. Here the use of wood was very dark. So we are using dark woods, floral motifs and elaborate carvings. So the carvings that you see on the chair on the screen, these are the kind of carvings that you would find in Victorian furniture. So here the influence was from Industrial Revolution, and by this time mass production was happening. So there were many chairs made of the similar aspect. Examples: velvet upholstered sofas, elaborate bookcases. There were a lot of bookcases also created during that time. Second was Art Nouveau. So Art Nouveau was a very small era. So it's 1890 to 1910. So only 20 years, but this had a significant amount of change. So here we are looking at organic curves, we are looking at floral motifs, handcrafted details. I like to call it something which is more abstract and something which is not really come back in time. So this is something very artistic. So these kinds of bent wood furniture, stained glass, so those kinds of things were coming into picture, and these kinds of furniture were very popular. Now after that comes your Art Deco. Now Art Deco, again, very short period of time, 1920s to 1930s. This was something which is very different. So here you would find very specific things like geometric shapes, luxury materials, streamlined aesthetics. So here we are not looking at elaborate florals, intricate carvings. We are looking at metals. So here the finishes that you would find are lacquered finishes, chrome details, stepped forms. So the forms you see here, so these are like the kind of steps in the table that you see. These are the kind of steps that you would see a lot in Art Deco. So here the influence was from modernism, industrial design. People were exploring new materials, new finishes, and this was the result of that. Then comes your modern contemporary furniture trends. So these are the ones where we are taking you closer to this century now. Bauhaus and mid-century modern, 1920s to 1960s. This was what was happening a lot. Bauhaus furniture was functional, minimal. Industrial materials were used like steel and glass. So this was a movement on its own which was happening in the West. So this was the time when there was a lot of furniture pieces which were being born, like the Barcelona chair, the Emis lounge chair. These are very popular kind of furniture chairs. Like the piece that you see on the screen is the Barcelona chair. This is still date the most functional and the most elegant piece of furniture that is being still used. So these are the kinds of, this Bauhaus movement became very important. Because why? Because this was the kind of furniture which became a signature kind of piece. Then comes your modern and contemporary, the last one, which is your postmodern and contemporary furniture, which we even use today. So 1970s to present, we are still evolving on this furniture. So there are maybe new trends, there were maybe new materials, but it's still the same. So the basic design, you can say language is the same. It's playful, bold colors. There were many unconventional shapes which were used post-modernism. And then for the contemporary, we were using sustainable, ergonomic, tech integrated designs. So this is being evolved every now and then. Every 2 days, every 10 days, you find new pieces of furniture in the market. But the basics of it remain the same. So examples of it are modular furniture. So there are n number of modular furniture pieces which are available in the market, but each of them are very different from each other. With evolution of technology, evolution of craftsmanship, those have been changing, but the basics of it remain the same. So I hope you find this video helpful. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.